Because the question when they're asking, is it opening? Like, then if the answer is yes, then they probably would expect tomorrow to be open even more, and the next day to be open even more, and the next day. But it probably just is the way it is unless you do something about it.
On to our next AMA question, and this comes from the infinite being Glow 5095. So, when I woke up in the middle of the night and tried to go back to sleep, I started seeing light and images when I closed my eyes. Is my third eye opening? I was half asleep, but pretty sure it wasn't a dream. Thanks, Master.
So, it's very likely that this has to do with third eye. Is it opening? Maybe we get glimpses of that often, but maybe we're becoming more conscious about it. Because the question when they're asking, is it opening? Like, then if the answer is yes, then they probably would expect tomorrow to be open even more, and the next day to be open even more, and the next day. But it probably just is the way it is unless you do something about it. So I would say that maybe there's a glimpse. That's where it's at right now. Yeah, often we are not, we know that we're not dreaming. It feels completely different to usual sleeping, imagination, dreaming. And we're seeing something that's beyond this physical dimension, because we can open our eyes and there's no light going on. So where is this coming from? So definitely, we are multidimensional beings, and we all have the ability to be able to access different dimensions outside. So it just means that maybe your a number of things. Your energy body is expanded. When it expands, it connects to outer dimension of reality. And the second thing it means that maybe our mind is not too consumed. When our mind is not as consumed, it's not busy, it's not stressed. We're relaxed. With a relaxed mind, our consciousness, our level of consciousness rises. So we are more receptive, and we're more aware of what we are seeing that is not actually here.
Beautiful. It reminds me of when you say relaxed mind, and you mentioned the word imagination as well. It reminds me of when a kid is having fun, and they have like such wild imaginations. They're very playful. They imagine these scenes and they play with these random objects and they create a whole story around it. Would you say that having an open third eye is linked to having a strong imagination or even daydreaming?
So imagination is, I think sometimes we get confused by the two things, because maybe everything we call a visual that we have an imagination, that something is not true in this dimension, we call it imagination. But if we think of, if you imagine something, you create that visual. Sometimes a kid, you say it's their imagination, but it may not be their imagination, because the kid did not go sit down, close their eyes and say, I'm going to imagine there are fairies and angels and I'm living in my castle. The kid just literally sat down. When they sat down, now they come to explain what they are seeing. That's not imagination. They did not imagine it. They did not go to create that imagination. That's what they are seeing. So they are also accessing. And kids are very receptive to that, because especially when we're younger, we're naturally in more of a theta brainwave. We've got less things to think about. So we see a lot of things in alternate dimensions, whether it's even from past life situations or the future even, or even parallel dimensions. We see, and then when we explain it to parents, that's when they will tell us that, oh, you're always daydreaming, or your imagination. But the kid didn't go to imagine nothing. Most kids, they just sit and suddenly they, I'm seeing this. So they're just accessing, that's all it is.
So with the accessing of, say, something similar, that sounds like daydreams. How about actual dreaming? when some people or some experiences that I personally had, I have moments where I dream a lot and moments where I don't dream that much. And could you say that maybe the third eye is more open when you have more dreams?
No, this is dream is nothing to do with third eye, because I think to say that sometimes you're dreaming a lot or sometimes you're not dreaming is that's not the case. The case is sometimes we remember, sometimes we don't, because dream is an alternate dimension. So when we go somewhere else, we are somewhere else when we are dreaming. Our consciousness is not here. Someone can go into your room and take something and you don't know. Your consciousness is not in the room, that's why. And what is your consciousness? Your consciousness is you. It's your metaphysical being is not in the room. Your physical being is in the room, it's there. You can see it. But your metaphysical, your energetic body is not there. It's out somewhere else in some other playground, enjoying itself or being horrified by something in some other playground, you know? So that's when we talk about dream, it's just a word that humans use to very quickly sum up something that's very, very complex, and we will never really get to the bottom of it with human language because it's too infinite, you know. So because when we wake up in this physical dimension, there's a reason, because of, we've talked about this before, parameters, protocols, and the system. And there's a system that you get your memory erased before you come back, or as you come back. Anyway, the more you come back, the more it gets erased. That's why sometimes when we are not fully back, we remember the dream, and it's very exciting. And so then we fully back, and then we go to wake our partner up to say, "Hey, I'd had this dream," and by the end of I had this dream, it's like it's gone. Because you're fully back. So when you go through dimensions like that, but then there's certain protocols or there's a reasoning behind sometimes we get to remember dreams. It's a blessing, actually, big blessing, because you are permitted to do so, because that is for you to take into this dimension. You're supposed to remember it because it's going to change your thoughts or your feelings or your vibrations in this dimension. So it's taking one multi-dimensional parallel dimension being that you are and taking that energetic field into this physical so that something is changing, you know. So yeah, it's not a dream. In fact, we can go as far to say that when we go to sleep and we close our eyes and when what we call dream, basically when we wake up in a different dimension, then we think this also as a dream. Oh, yesterday I was having this weird dream. I was sat next to this guy with flowers on his shirt and I was doing a podcast show. Oh my God, you know, but I wake up somewhere else. So yeah.
So I'm very curious to know, going back to Glow's question in regards to the third eye opening and seeing images and light, how would you describe your personal experience with opening your third eye, or anyone that you know that might have as well?
Light is first, yeah. So light, very, very, very powerful light, like so bright that it kind of shocks you a little bit, you know. If it's not that bright, then maybe you're just getting glimpses at first, and you're not quite sure. Is it not? And then depends how far you're going in what dimensions, but when you go far in dimensions, then it's a very fast-paced tunnel, like very fast flashes of light, and you're just moving at 1,000,000 miles per hour, and so many different things are happening at the same time, and you're feeling and experiencing in different dimensions very fast. So fast that like it's almost like 5 seconds, and you've experienced loads of different things at once. Yeah. So then that's that kind of like finding part or traveling part, dimension traveling part, astral traveling part. And then the arrival depends how much of your energy arrives there. We always have to have an element of our energy in this physical body because it needs to keep warm, so your heart keeps pumping and You don't die. So you will never 100% go out unless you're dead in this physical dimension. And, you know, depending how deep you meditate, deep you can go in meditation, is almost like how deep you can go in sleep. Some people can sleep very deep. Then you know their energies are more in a different dimension, meaning that what they experience in dream is going to be a lot more clearer for them. Some people sleep light. So a small movement in this room, they hear it. And the reason why is because their energy distribution is majority probably still in the room. And just a proportion of it has gone out. So if a proportion of it has, of let's say 30% of your energy body has only gone to dream, and the other 70% is still in the room, then obviously you're going to get waken up very easily. But aside from that is your experience of the dream is going to be a little bit blurry. So it's kind of like, I kind of seen this thing, these purple colors, and I think there was this person, I couldn't make it out who it was. But when you are, your energy distribution is great. In our yogic practices, we call like minor chakras, major chakras are activated and fluid when they're moving. They can fully move out. When you fully move out, then you see exactly who it is. You see what it is. You see where you're at, and you remember it all. So it depends on your energy distribution.
So when your energy was distributed in this alternate dimension of light, what do you recall? If you do recall anything, like, did you recall seeing anything? You mentioned person. Is there a person that you saw, an entity? Was there any downloads that you had that you brought back here?
Yeah, well, if we're talking about when I was up in the Himalayas, yeah, my master, Grandmaster Akshar, would often say that when we go out on Monday, out of third eye, then I will meet you on the other side. And so many times I would meet him next to the river, and he would take me training and practicing. So very clear. There was no. It was like it really happened. It's like when you have a dream. Sometimes you have a very solid dream, and then you open your eyes, and you're back in the room. Yet at the same time, you still question: did it actually happen? Was that yesterday or was that today? You sometimes do that. It's exactly like that, but in meditation, not in sleep. Yeah.
Is time different?
Time is different in every dimension. Yes. So we can go out. I mean, on these day practices, when I was up during the pilgrimage, I think most of the longest meditations would only be around an hour. Your daily meditations, the daily practices, when you do a session, would probably only do 10, 20 minutes, sometimes 30 minutes, things like that. But those 30 minutes will seem like a week or 2 weeks, you know. So yeah, it's different. But we know about space and time. We learn it at school. When you go through space, you also travel through time. It's different.
So, when you had your third eye opening, did you realize how long did it feel when you were in that space? And then when you opened your eyes, how much time did you think actually elapsed?
It felt like that. It like 2 weeks, and then or 1 week or 2 weeks, you come back and it's you look at Grandmaster would then say, look at the time, and then I'll be like, whoa, it's been 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Yeah.
So would you say time is slower in that realm?
It depends what dimension you're going into. The dimensions that we were accessing, yes, because it's like you go to different planets, you go to the moon, you go to different planets, you're going to age differently as well, because it depends how many light years away and things like that. So yeah, it's yeah, I think that was not the most fascinating part about it. The most fascinating part about it was more so that after those practices in alternate dimensions, I remember the most clearest time. I mean, all the other practices was great. It was amazing, still magical. But there was one thing that I knew for a long time, which was I could never go into lotus pose because of this knee. I didn't know what was wrong with the knee. I never checked on it, but I just practiced yoga for 5 years before that, and I could never do lotus pose because it just used to hurt on this knee. And then we did a practice, and it was probably went out, practiced for around 2 weeks, came back. It was like, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes had passed by, and I came back into the room, and then he tapped me on the shoulder, and then he said, "Now get into lotus pose," and my leg just went straight up, and not just up without any pain. It was full lotus, full squeeze, like, and I was like, "Oh." And then he was explaining to me that small changes in the outer dimension is huge manifestations in this physical reality, and it just clicked for me. It just made sense, because I was like, "Oh wow." Then I asked him the question. I said, "Well, why would we manifest in this dimension? We should manifest in the outer dimension." He said, "Yes, we try anyway, but most people don't know how to do it." And he said, "So this journey, you learn how to manifest out in outer dimension, then life becomes easy." Something like that, yeah.
That sounds like a butterfly effect in the other dimension would be a quantum leap in this one. Would you say you practice doing that? So you manifest from the other dimension to manifest into this one. And how do you go about doing that?
Well, okay. The same thing, same principles happen. We need to activate all our energies, points, which are known as chakras, and we need to be able to take it out. When we take it out, then we need to know how to direct it to the right dimensions that impact this physical dimension. And then we just do small things outside, small visual stuff, small vibrational stuff changes, and it tweaks here dramatically, like huge. But it's not that far-fetched really, because we kind of we witness this all the time. And what is outer dimension? Outer dimension is I mean, it's all connected. It's not like it's a complete separate realm. I mean, if you look at Earth, we're in planet Earth right now, and then we all know that there's tectonic plates on the outside. And if you take two tectonic plates and they just do a little bit of a kiss, not even a French kiss, just a little mwah, you can have thousands of people dying here. So what does that it just shows like little thing there, little thing outside, and then huge changes happen inside. You know, it happens on many levels. Like we can call that an outer dimension, and Earth being an inner dimension. But then we can go deeper into it and look at your body, let's say, right? So you take a cell of your body. Like you can take a shot of tequila. To you, it's only a shot of tequila. But tequila will actually, like, all the cells can just die like that, you know, or need repairing. So your little shot, one little shot, is catastrophe in there. It's a tsunami inside there, you know. So again, small thing outside, big thing inside every time. The more outer dimension you go, the less you need to do impacts the more in the inner dimension, always. So human beings are trying to manifest in this physical realm, right? Let me think about it, let me feel it, let me action upon it. That's just like your little cell trying to repair itself. So your little cell's like, oh, we need to repair the kidney or the liver. Oh, we need to repair the liver. Imagine a whole army of cells. There's probably millions of them trying to repair your liver. And it may take 6 months at least, you know, as long as you don't have any more partying weekends, you know. So it may take 6 months to repair your liver, because we all have this natural healing blueprint, which is great, amazing. It's godsend, right? But it takes 6 months. But if imagine that cell could do what we are doing, and that cell could communicate with God, which is you. I mean, you're their God, really, because you can manifest miracles for them. Imagine if they could come out and rock up at your pillow when you're sleeping and whisper in your ear and just say, hey, stop with the tequila, stop going out partying on weekends, and hey, water fast, maybe have a look at water fasting, you know, and maybe healthy lifestyle. And imagine one day you just wake up, which these things actually happen, because one day we just wake up and we don't know why, we just don't want to drink anymore. We don't want to party anymore. And you say, oh yeah, I don't know, I don't feel like it anymore. Imagine if you didn't. And imagine if you did a 3-day water fast, your liver would just repair itself immediately. So you do something small, like 3 days, then that's there 6 months, you know. So every outer dimension is, if we can communicate with the outer dimension, it's everything becomes faster and easier.
So when you say communicate with the higher dimension, would you say it's similar to saying maybe speaking to your higher self or manifesting from the higher self or higher?
Yeah, I mean, you can speak to your higher self, or you can just speak to God or universe. I mean, there's levels to the game, right? So we starting with speaking to your higher self would be a good start. Speaking with angels or guardians or whatever you want to call them is a nice improvement. Speaking to God himself or goddess herself, you know, is quite a big improvement, you know. Speaking on a universe level, you know. So depends who you get access to. But again, there are parameters. So who you get access to depends on, you know, you need to know the protocols, go through the training, and you have to be worthy of that. Not everybody gets permission to do that. It's like meeting the president. Not everybody gets to meet the president.
Beautiful. Thank you, Master Sri Akarshana.
Thank you.
And please give yourself permission to like this video. If you found that it's opening your third eye, drop us a comment. Let us know what your third eye is seeing. Express it. And remember to subscribe if you wish to continue this mission of opening your third eye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.